Excuse me, madam. Before we continue with this transaction, I must know the truth about this sandwich. Right, let's do a wee news story, shall we, from the wonderful people at the Metro. Slightly shocking news, this one. Just when I thought that life really couldn't get any worse for many of us. The good people at the Metro have had some of their investigative journalist team dealing with the big topics of today, and this is shocking news. If you are having your lunch, I may suggest stop eating for a moment and just take a seat, because this headline is not only upsetting, but it's probably news that we were aware of. We just never wanted to have it confirmed. And the headline is simple: it's 1/3 of meat in shop-bought sandwiches is unidentifiable. Helen Skelton investigates. Now, first of all, God bless Helen Skelton, because if we did not have her, which I'm sure is either a Blue Peter presenter or some ex-Olympian, I do not know, but it seems as though 1/3, 33% of the meat, it's the word unidentifiable. It's meat, right? What? Hey, what's the point of me, going on about how do you class something as being unidentifiable? Let's just read the goddamn article, shall we? Now, the article itself is from Sydney Yates, a new name to us here at the Scott Gibson Show, from the Metro itself. The article goes on to say, a strong start from young Sydney. Strong start. A grim 33% of the meat in shop-bought sandwiches. Now, let's stop. Let's put a pin in that. Surely it should clarify as to which shops we're talking about here, because not every shop that you buy a sandwich from has got fucking pigeon meat in it, right? There are shops out there. High-end sandwich. O'Brien's, for God's sake. The classiest of all sandwichiers in the planet. If you've never been to O'Brien's, you've never fucking lived, man. The sandwich comes in a wee paper bag. They used to do one, it would 2 bits of bread. You know what a sandwich is? And they would have a thin slice of brown toast. Toast! In the middle. To give it texture and crunch. Oh, the fucking pieces you get out there. So surely, the article has to state what sandwiches we're talking about. Now, is this pre-packed sandwiches? I would imagine it is. But then, is this going to be a high end? Marks and are they claiming that Marks and Spencer's, the fucking Ferrari, the elite of the pre-packed sandwich, are they for a second suggesting that Marks and Spencer's use unidentifiable meat? The plot thickens. A grim 33% of meat in shop-bought sandwiches is unidentifiable, according to research and Channel 4 documentary The Truth About Your Sandwich. The Truth About Your Sandwich. I have never in my life bought a sandwich and just before I bite into it went, I need to know the truth about this sandwich. The truth is, it's £1. Fucking eat it. Where are you buying a sandwich for? Marks and Spencer's, right? Greg's. Subway. Never have ever, when I've got to a till, do you want a steak bacon as well, son? They're only $1.20. Excuse me, madam. I do apologise for the phone ringing there. Excuse me, madam. Before we continue with this transaction, I must know the truth about this sandwich. Which she got to be sitting going like, tell me the truth. You fucking cow. Tell me the truth. Alright, son, the truth is the sandwich never knew its father, It went into care at a young age, and yes, it had some criminal activity when it was young, but it escaped through a hard life. Do you want the sandwich or no? In scenes that air tonight. When is this? When was this printed? Thursday the 8th. So we've maybe missed it. In Scenes the Air Tonight, Helen Skelton investigated Britain's sandwich industry. The fucking cow. Is this like the Cook Report? Remember that fucker? The Cook Report. He used to go into like fucking pedos and fucking gangs in the IRA and shit. Kick the door and go, it's the Cook Report, you fucker. What he's up to? Is that how far we've come as a country? We have gone from investigating criminal gangs, terrorism, to Helen Skelton looking at your sandwiches. Leave the fucking pieces alone, Helen. In the investigation on Channel 4, Helen also looks at the hygiene conditions in high street chains and sandwich production plants. She also questioned whether consumers can trust the nutritional levels advertised on the sandwich they buy. Again, who fucking cares? Helen met up with a researcher named Mark, who shared that it's becoming increasingly difficult to find out where meat in sandwiches comes from. This means it's impossible to know it's impossible to know how that sandwich is made. We spent a fair old period of time researching where the meat was coming from, looking at packets, internet-based research, talking to the retailers, and we couldn't find that information for 33% of sandwiches based on all of those things. We also spoke to the retailers, and they said, we know where the meat is coming from, but what does that mean to the consumer? 33% of meat in our sandwiches comes from an unidentified source. A shocked Helen responded. Yes, Mark replied. Why does that matter? Helen probed. Real in-depth investigation here, you know? 33% of meat is unidentified. Is that correct? Yes. Why does that matter? Oh, you've really hit me with a probing question there. Voicing his concerns, Mark, who I imagine is not his real name, I think is a concern about the meat, because if the retailers aren't even telling you which country it's coming from, they're certainly not telling you how it's produced, where the animal's living in higher animal welfare conditions. Who fucking cares? Who cares, mate? This is the fucking middle class fucking cunts imparting their way of life and their thinking on the fucking normal people. We're poor. We don't give a fuck where the sandwich comes from. Why can these fucking middle class hipster fucking bastards not understand this? Not everybody has the access to, one, the education you had, two, the fucking choices you have in life. Is this chicken high-end animal welfare? It's a fucking Greggs, you cunt. Shut up. I'm not even high-end animal welfare. I'm a fucking prisoner behind this till. Get the fucking sandwich and fuck off. How are we meant to know if the animal has lived a good life when they can't even tell us where the animal comes from? See, when I eat a sandwich, if I eat a delicious, let's just say roast beef, roast beef, mustard or horseradish fucking piece, I eat that and go, oh my God, that is one of the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had in my life. And somebody steps and goes, do you know that cow came from Montenegro and it lived in a box and they hit it in the face with a shovel before they made it into a sandwich? That would not affect the taste in any way. In any way. It's like Demolition Man when Stallone eats the burger and goes, that's one of the greatest burgers I've ever had in my life. And she's like, why don't you ask what it is? What is it? She's like, a rata. It's a rata. He's like, it's a rat burger. Who gives a fuck, mate? It's delicious. I've done that before. I've eaten fucking gyoza. I put it in my mouth. I went, fuck me, that's great. What is it? And the wee Chinese guy went, ha-ta-ta-ta. Fuck knows, could be his gran. It was delicious. These are problems that we don't need to solve, people, right? Now, the misleading part is that in the statement is the unidentifiable, right? Because what it makes you think is that it's no chicken, or it's no pork, or it's no beef. It's some fucking weird thing like plastic or rubber, right? That's what they want you to think. This meat is unidentifiable. What does that mean? It could be bison. It could be pigeon. You could be eating Alsatian Doug. What they mean is, when they say unidentifiable, is they're unable to trace its country of origin or the farm it came from. And you know what? See, when it comes to a sandwich, I couldn't give a fuck. Why don't we focus more on the chemicals that are being put into bread so that the loaves last weeks on end? You know, maybe focus more on that in a piece rather than where my fucking cheap beef comes from. Fucking, I'm telling you, man. I hope when the world goes back to normal, there's a fucking uprising and all this soft fucking, where did everything come from and did I have a good life? Get to fuck, man. It's time to clean house. It's time to clean house. Elsewhere in the programme, it was revealed that the average sandwich has 25 different ingredients. There you go. These ingredients can come from all over the world, and they're all brought together in a sandwich facility. The Truth About Your Sandwich is currently available to stream on Channel 4 OD. Why not go and check it out? Ellen Skelton there, just absolutely ruining a sandwich. All this is make me do now is want to go and get a sandwich and see if I can have some of that delicious, unidentifiable meat. Eh? Have you ever had any unidentifiable meat? If you have, keep it to yourself.